Alrighty guys, welcome to the show. We are almost ready to get underway, and we obviously are getting underway in the Battlefield ESL 1 Seasonal Cup number 3. There are a good couple of cups prior to this one, so if you do want to check them out, head over to the ESL-1.com site and have a look at the previous results. Currently at the top, no real surprises there. Fnatic and Epsilon near on tying there, but further down the table, as you mentioned, we do have Infused and ASUS RoG or RoG. And I do also have to kind of welcome a guest. I've been trying to ignore the factor that he's actually here. I've roped him into it once again by keeping him in my dungeon. Dogbert, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Been let out the dungeon to cast once again, and hopefully don't get put back in it too soon.
I'll loosen the reins for now. So I think we're just about ready to go in. But by the way, guys, make sure you let me know about the sound settings and bits like this. Obviously, I'm trying to set this up a little bit on the fly, so you'll have to try and help me out. And hopefully, it's all good. But we'll find out. We'll have a look. We'll dive into game and see how we are doing. No idea who picked Max Dog, but we guess. That's how we get through this. This is how we do things. So, on the Chinese side, which is the red side, it will be Infused. On the Russian side, it will be ASUS RoG. Or is it RoG? What do you call it?
I'll stick with RoG. I think that might be the best way to do it. Otherwise, it's going to get very complicated very quickly.
I'll stick with that.
Yeah, and actually, interesting stuff from both teams. Really, really aggressive, not even bothering to try and go for that A flag. Infused coming straight out, just looking for kills. They've picked up 2 already. This is looking really good for them. If they break this around C, get these initial kills and controls of the building, they'll be set for a very, very strong start.
Yeah, I think you summed it up there. A brilliant start from these guys already. As you mentioned, C being quite the optimal position. Tom did pretty damn well there at the start, but it's Hadouken on the flag. He's going to be capping that one over, but they are losing out on A in the meantime. And I think it's a bit of a rope back around. But do you think they're going to be going for that AC hold? Or where is their ideal setup here for the Infused side?
They would want that AB, but at the same time, they can hold building control like this. That's really what they want. That spawn came behind A. That was very irregular and obviously punishing Infused for being as aggressive as they were, but they're picking up the kills right now, and with that building control, which they just lost, this is where the tide can turn. If they start losing building control like that, it's very, very difficult to pry out a defender, especially with an AB hold.
Well, we do see that AB hold, as you mentioned, being firmly in place for ASUS RoG, as we are now calling him. And Vinch is looking like he wants to try and take back this side. He's going to be pushing out towards that flag point. Doesn't find much. There's a player to his right. He's going to challenge him down, but he does eventually win out on the fight. But it was more of a little bit of luck there, I feel, than absolute skill. There's a little bit of a spray down. But still, A should be going back into the hands of ASUS. B not yet to be fully challenged, but it looks like Infused are pretty much right at the door here. But they need to start pushing together and kind of make this push really happen and start to challenge these sides, because this 2-to-1 hold is starting to really cause a bit of a disparity in the points so far and the tickets on the board.
Yeah, and you can see that Infused were wanting that A flag quite heavy. They didn't even bother going for A. They've been harassing it, but they haven't been going for it. And with that initial good start for them has kind of gone sour, because that bleed just hasn't been lifted. And look at this, so you can see at the top of the map and see that's going to be a full domination cap. So Infused are going to have to move quickly here to get well established at B and A.
They're going to have to do something, because as you mentioned, Hysteria has almost a free reign by C. There is a back spawn for Phantom, so we might be able to reclaim that. But these 3 players for Infused who are kind of in between that AB site are going to have to start making their move towards one of these. They might start, claiming back that C section, but Vinch picking up the kill has denied that one. So C's even hard work for Infused right now. Phantom's come back around and picked it up in the end, but still, AB's just completely in the hands of ASUS. They're barely being challenged here, and even with the rooftops staying fairly in control by Infused, they just don't seem to be able to get these sites under control. Bambi has made a push, so Hysteria may be in trouble. He does get tagged up and taken down, so Bambi claiming this one, but still 2 opponents around him. He's going to get shut down by Fenter in the end, and that means B should, in theory, stay in the hands of ASUS. There's a couple of players still around, but Hysteria is on the flag. He's going to go down. There's going to be a bit of a brawl coming into this effect. It's going to be Hadouken coming out the better of that, getting the respawns in, and that might mean finally B has been broken through on. But is it too little too late, or can they still turn this one around?
They can still turn this one around. It's not completely out of their hands yet, but a lot of messing around when really they should have got in there and picked a flag to go for. And very indecisive, and it's really not working out for them there. They just got wiped at the B house, and And with that, they're once again forced out of C, and you can see RoG are just already going for a full domination cap, and to be honest, Infused just kind of look stunned here. They don't really seem to know what they want to do here.
No, they've lost that kind of, I don't know, they seem to have a bit of a plan at the start, but it seemed to have kind of fallen by the wayside. They do have a little bit of a challenge going on towards A. 3 players now present, willing to defend, but the player tucked into the corner, which is Hadouken, who made a big bit of damage on the B side, looking like he wants to do it again, gets those respawns in, and the flag will be converted over, so they do have a 2-to-1 hold. A and C are in their hands. Revo picking up the kill onto Vinch, has secured that one for now, but whether or not they can keep this up, I don't know. Finally, we are going to see ASUS on the back foot, but I feel these guys might be able to just work through it this time.
Yeah, and you can see they haven't really been out. Oh, there they go. They clear out the B house. Finally, building control seems to be going over to Infused. That's what they need to just look. Well, look already at how much tickets they managed to bleed away just with this C and A hold, and they're already threatening the B as well. And they're using that building control over A to really just frustrate any pushes forward. But you can see for RoG it's starting to use RPGs to just level these buildings, make entrances where they just generally wouldn't be, and opening up this game a lot more than usual. And the big plays really have been going RoG's way, to be honest. They seem to be able to get these one-on-ones, and there's another one happening over B, and even though it's a full domination cap for Infused, it's going to be a short-lived one because those spawns are just really on top, and they're getting flags right now, RoG.
Yeah, they are indeed, and this could spell trouble. Infused, though, did have a trip cap for a second, but maybe overextended a touch there because now it is a 2-to-1 hold. A is going to be the contested site. You can see Bambi tucked into the corner. It's been claimed by Infused, and near on left by ASUS, who are getting those respawns in. They still have B as their safety net to fall back on, but right now it's going to be Hysteria to hold on. He spotted one, takes a straight-up shot there, but there was a player just beside him, goes for the second, gets the second, but gets immediately shut down as he tried to push through towards A, and now B looks a bit vulnerable, and there's a complete squad wipe on B, but still, C is going back and forth, but I've got to say, Infused is certainly out for blood now. They're just stepping up time and time again, but this game is still very close.
Yeah, very awkward start for them, but they definitely salvaged it. The game is leveled up now, and unfortunately for them, though, they keep losing out on that B flag. It's something that they don't seem to be able to keep control of for very long, and that's fine. They seem to be very happy with this AC game, but the C flag is a very volatile flag. Spawns come on top of it all the time. It's just not an easy one to hold, and right now they need those big plays, and they're just not getting them, so they're not holding any of the flags that maybe they could.
Yeah, and Infused are just down to Bambi. He's been taken down, so now...
Wipe.
Yeah, it was a complete wipe. Infused are pushed even further back. C was there any option. They're being mowed down from the point. And actually, ASUS are holding C. As you said, a volatile site, it is vulnerable. You get those back spawns, you can get easily swarmed, but they're keeping them at bay, and this might just really cost Infused a lot of time. It's 74 to 64 at the moment. It's not a big difference, but the way it's playing out at the moment, ASUS have a firm setup across the map, and Vinch now trying to hold on to this, just trying to be a nuisance. Infused are absolutely everywhere. He's getting the spots out, he's getting the tags, he's not been getting the kills, so he's going to be pushed down in the end and overrun by Infused. They've taken back C, but a limited cross now because, well, probably just taking down Revo, denying any sort of access out of here, and they just keep applying the pressure, but they've broken through enough towards B, and they do have this site in hand now.
Yeah, but look at that. This is why the C flag. If you can hold C just long enough to keep them like occupied, the spawn eventually comes in right behind it, and that's what's happened. So all that effort pretty much for nothing. So that C flag once again switches back over. It's all about the ticket bleed right now. But you got to remember, I mean, the beginning of this round looked good for Infused, and then it kind of went sour quite quickly. Yeah. And then RoG took a huge lead, and now if you look at the score, it's pretty evened up. But yeah, Infused really just not holding on to flags for very long.
Well, let's see if they can do anything here. Bambi is set up, but as you said, they're not being able to get these nice defenses going. They're not having that solid hold. And Bambi being forced out to try and get back this B side. He knows there were players around here, but they should be able to claim this one back through. But the push is coming in from A towards B from ASUS. So I'm kind of curious if, you know, the players negating those roofs so quickly could be costing them these setup holds. And 60 tickets still in the hands of ASUS. They're going to be trying to do some more damage here. A couple of med packs being dropped out intact, looking for a way through. He's not going to find it off the roof. He's going to leave it to the teammates on the ground, and that's going to be Hysteria once again, looking to get in their faces. Intact did find Bambi in the end, and that could be the opening towards his B side. Pushing in, finds one. That's Phantom down, goes to the follow-up, gets denied in the end. That should swing this flag, at least for now, into the hands of Infused, but Revo's in trouble. He's going to have to back away, heal up a touch. But look, still a 2-to-1 hold. It seems that no matter where Infused go, they just seem to be struggling to get a firm hold on these flags.
Yeah, and see, it was kind of a bait and switch. One player was capturing the flag, 2 guys going, one gets killed, then he finishes up, thinks he's clear, goes for the revive, and someone was in the C building right across him, picks up the kill on both of them after the revive, and there you go, that's a full domination cap, and there's the spawn right behind A, and they're going to get that capture, but they're going to be stuck in the same position they were with 1 flag against a 2-man hold, and this is just not looking good at all for Infused.
Yeah, and they're just getting mowed down. You can see Prodigy right there. He's picked up at least 3 from this position, just playing the roof game. And as much as Infused and ASUS, they've taken out a lot of these walls, it's still a very hard struggle. And already Hysteria straight on towards that site, straight on towards that flag, picking up the kills. And wow, lovely little double, going for the triple. That was the triple. Hysteria has been an absolute monster so far. He's sitting firmly at the top of the scoreboard, 17-13, not afraid to die, but certainly picking up the kills for it. And this 2-1, it looks like this might be the final kind of scoreline we're going to see. Is there anything Infused can do, or is it now just the final push?
I think they just need to wear as many tickets down, but there's another wipe, and Bambi's the only one really who can do anything about this right now. He needs to get those kills. Gets 1. If he can finish up another here, he might be able to salvage what was looking a really bad situation, but yeah, without getting that capture quick enough, I don't think they're going to be able to. They're getting that flag zone in B. They hold their spawns right now. They're going to get this B and C hold, and they got to get every revive. No one can spawn in because they're holding on 1 ticket right now, and all they can do is try and bleed off as many as possible.
Well, they're losing out on B right now. It is being contested, but as you said, every death will now hurt. And Hysteria and Prodigy picking up 1 each is going to make this even more difficult with near on no one alive. It's going to be a matter of time until this is converted over. Bambi's still desperately trying to do something, but too little too late. 41 ticket advantage in the end. So I wouldn't say it's a completely unchangeable scoreline. This map can go either way, and as we saw, there was a good start from Infused. They kind of let it slip towards the end, but still, what do you think this means coming into the second half? Do you think Infused now maybe understand the lay of the land a little bit better up against ASUS?
Well, Infused will start on the stronger side, I would say, but as strong as they should get the initial 2 cap bleed, but what really hurt Infused there is that aggressive style. Getting those early kills was good, but because they were pushing so far forward, it meant a spawn behind A was inevitable, and as soon as that happened, what they wanted was get those kills and force those spawns out behind that C flag. Unfortunately, the game decided that spawn, because there was literally no one behind them, was just like, right, clear space, here's where the attackers will be, and that was an insta-cap on A, and they didn't get the success they wanted, and that's all about domination battlefield. If one player can hold down enough, doesn't have to get the kills, just has to slow down that push, and the rest of the players will do the work for them, and then the bleed really starts hurting. That's why you see that C flag being pivotal, because if a player can, with that AB hold going on in the background, just delay people long enough at C, it really, really just keeps pushing and pushing that ticket score higher and higher.
We're going to have to see if that comes into effect on the second half here. Obviously, we'll be going back into the same map. I'm sure you guys are aware of how this works now. And as I said, if you guys were talking about the quality at the moment, I might change it or try and adapt something during the half. I think it may just be XSplit not liking me, but you'll have to deal with it for now, as I don't want to stop the stream. I don't want you to miss any of the action, because we are going to get underway nice and quickly into the second half here on the first map. Once the game wants to... there we go. Let's jump back in. So, ASUS will be starting on the Chinese side. The Russian side will be Infused. So, take us, through what the initial plans are between these 2 teams.
Infused are looking for a holding action around C, using the main C building to try and just anchor it. And then unfortunately, Phantom goes down. That kind of opens up that C flag immediately. They've got Jack Frag sitting on the B house. He's a pivotal position. He needs to stay alive there. More of a jumping off point, and he gets a kill there. It's very important. And this is solid really for Infused, but they got to make sure that they keep control of this C flag, or at least threaten that A1 as soon as possible. And Bambi here goes down, but luckily for them, Phantom gets that spawn near C. They need this A, B and C hold for as long as possible right now to set up an attack on A as soon as they get the spawn or the picks.
Well, let's see if Phantom can hold on to this, because he's being challenged. The respawns are coming in. There's at least 1 player from the opposition towards this site. Jack Frags has been locking down that top roof position. He's doing some brilliant work, but in the back, Hysteria comes around. down towards C. And this is not the man I'd want to be challenging right now out of everyone. He's holding that flag in place, but gets pushed in the end by Bambi. So Infused will be claiming the C site for now, at least. But you can see the immediate reaction. So Jack Frags gets himself over towards A, going to swing this one around, and this could be a triple cap going through for Infused very early on.
A very good one as well. Positions here are brilliant. Revo far out in the field, pinning down people in that A building, and meanwhile Jack Frags and company getting the flag capture. But they haven't cleared out. They need to clear out the RoG guys in this flag. It's just random left, but and with that going down, that's brilliant for them. Now they can set up this A-B hole, and then you get their positions quickly, find out where the initial spawns are coming in. It looks like the top C. That's great for Infused. This is what they needed.
Yeah, and it's allowed the likes of Phantom to even get a little bit more aggressive, just to be a pest, just to get in their faces, because they have complete street control. As you mentioned, they've got the setup they needed, buying that little bit of time, and this 2-1 hold should be desperately in their favor for quite a bit of, the clock running down, and the tickets are going to start looking a little bit dire now. And I've got to say it, right now, 3 players from Infused still holding on towards the street. Finally, one man does break through. It will be Hysteria making the cross, but he's got tagged up in the back, down to 14 HP, picks up 1. That's Jack Frags eliminated, pushing in towards the side. He might be able to turn this if he gets maybe a couple of respawns towards him, but the battle's still going through on the street. Vinch breaking through as well, gets himself towards A to support his teammate, but this looks a little bit better from ASUS. They've finally been able to break that street hold. Phantom, still being a pest, finally gets taken down the end by Intact, but look, Infused immediately on C. It looks like these guys are finally warmed up here.
Yeah, they're rotating correctly, and that's what they needed to do originally. And they did seem to be quite shell-shocked in the first round, and they do seem to have got their rotation sorted. But they got to make sure they don't get caught in the same trap once again, and they need to push that A flag as soon as they start getting the kills. And there's only 1 left, and if they can get that kill, that's an A flag capture easy.
Yeah, indeed. And as you said, 1 man left towards his site. Now has a couple of respawns. Revo is looking for him, but he just can't find him, and he doesn't want to go alone, it seems. Maybe just making sure they can't push off towards B. If they're playing the safety game, mostly focusing towards C, they're actually losing out on this, because Intact has found the 1 man who pushed forward. C will be going over towards ASUS, and now the attentions are turned towards B for the ASUS side, and they're getting towards the site. 3 players challenge him down. Now, that's not going to happen too easily. But Vinch, ready and waiting, goes for the peek, gets denied, but Revo still causing so much trouble for these guys, picking up the kill there towards Fenta and holding on towards this B flag. But still, the challenge coming down towards C. Jack Frags in the site, nading up and over. They should be able to turn this one around.
Yeah, I'm looking at the spawns here. And if RoG here, they're going to spawn on top of each other. They're just going to push for this B flag really, really strong. Revo here, lone defender. The rotations need to come in nice and quick, or they just go for the C flag. It looks like they're going to try and defend this B flag. This could be difficult for them, though, but they need to spread out. With that building control from A, though, they can put crossfire down on that B flag, and that's what they're doing with Jack Frags and Hadouken right now, and just harassing at A as well, keeping them off, keeping them on the back foot a bit here. Infused doing a great job here. That's a wipe at B. That's exactly what they need. They're going to get this A-B hold, and by himself, Phantom killed 2 who were going to harass that A flag. Brilliant job by Infused. That's a full wipe, and wow, they're way ahead right now.
Yeah, 117 tickets to 65. They do have the deficit on the half, but still, they don't seem to care about that right now, because they're playing absolutely brilliantly. Big street push coming out from ASUS, so they are looking towards that B side once again, and Fenta gets a nice little shot there towards Hadouken. No pressure coming from those rooftops just yet. Goes for the follow-up, gets the tag, not the frag. Gonna have to get in towards the site himself, tuck himself in, leave his teammates to cover it off. 2 players pushed a little bit further forward, but not picking up the kills, but buying enough time to allow the site to at least trickle slowly into the hands of ASUS. So now just Infused left with A. Where are they going to hit up, B or C?
They're hitting C. You can already see them stacking up there, but Revo needs to be careful. He goes down. That's disastrous for Infused right now. Look at those spawns. They're going to be all far up in C. They need to rotate quickly, realize that that's an easy capture at C, and try and decide which flag they want to go for here. I think B is the more desirable, but it's a harder one. Again, it looks like Infused are going to hit both at the same time here. Hadouken going forward and Jack Frags and Revo trying to take that B flag. It all comes down to just a handful of 1v1s here.
Yeah, Hadouken won at least one of them, so we'll get some sort of foothold towards those mid-buildings. Stunning work from Jack Frags in there, taking down Intact, but he doesn't expect the push from that A road. That would be Vinch coming into avenge his fallen teammate, at least giving them a hold for now towards B, but will they expect Hadouken from the back? The tag comes in, Hadouken now pushing forward. There's at least 2 players still holding down the side. He gets taken down from the back, but he's alleviated some of the pressure. Maybe allow a little bit of movement for Revo, but Look at that, the way they're avoiding any sort of peaks coming up from the opponents, but it looks like Revo will eventually get his chance to get towards B. There is one player literally seconds in front of him, or inches should I say, but this 2-to-1 hold is, you know, sticking for ASUS right now. And these splits coming out from Infused, they're going to have to make it count, because at the moment C is going over towards ASUS, and Jack Frags has to get to the side. Hadouken and Revo doing the work. A is going to be taken over. B now looking good for Infused as well. If they can make this one stick, they're in a good position, but Prodigy holding them back. Big double for him. Revo and Hadouken go down, and that means for now at least, they may just about hold on towards B, but these respawns are making it so difficult to keep track here, and both teams are really being put through their paces.
Yeah, definitely, but it's something Infused really cannot let happen. That's a good wipe, though. That's a complete wipe. Everyone from RoG is down, and Infused here can hold that C flag with 2 players and cap B completely uncontested. So very, very fortunate for Infused there. It's all about how long they really want to go for. If they just want to hold this A or B, or if they want to harass the C. But you can already see RoG on the attack, and it's just Jack holding A by himself.
Yeah, nice read from Jack, though. He got there even before they saw these players on the cross, so he knows they're on this site, but he cannot see a single pixel. Finally gets the spot, gets the kill, but will he expect the second player on here? There was one other. He's taking his time. He's round by the street. Jack is going to be just about holding on. Nice work from him. Single-handedly defending and holding and retaking the A site, and this could be a triple cap coming in for Infused. They've got a player on C. Even if he just buys the time, he'll do the job. Hysteria going down as well. Bambi is being the biggest pest in the world, not allowing C to even be the kind of runners-up prize for losing out on every other site, as Revo now coming around from the side, takes down Vinch, and as you said, these rotations have been great now from Infused, buying time towards that C retake. And at the moment, 41 tickets is not far away for Infused, but they're holding on for now, and 20 is looking dangerous for ASUS.
Yeah, and Infused here need to shut down this B push, because at this point they haven't got enough time to end up keep taking in, coming back and getting flags, and they're just coming in trying to get this last wipe, and there you go, that's completely it. RoG are down, there's no one left. They've got 15 tickets, and their spawns are not helping them at all. They're way behind C, and it looks like Infused might have just rescued themselves from a very sticky situation.
Most certainly, and now I think it's time to go aggressive, apparently, as Hadouken goes running face first into the entirety of the opponents, and with 6 tickets left towards ASUS, I don't blame them, and now Jack has to hold on to the onslaught once again. One player in towards A. He knows he's there, but will he expect the second? He gets the second. Oh, goes for the pistol, gets denied in the end. A's going to go over, but with 2 tickets left, ASUS, even though they had the advantage on the first half, they did so well there. Infused seemed to just work out what the issues were, and at the moment, ASUS are getting a 2-to-1 hold, but with 2 tickets left, is there much work to be done here?
We got to remember, they only have to drop Infused below 41 tickets. And
you raise a good
right
point.
Now, Infused only have to have 1 push left in them. They don't get in and either get a wipe here, or they get this B captured. Right now, it's only Bambi left on the map, and he goes down. That's a wipe from Infused, and they're dangerously close to that cutoff point now. RoG can't spawn anyone in, and it's going to happen. There's nothing they can do.
Wow, that one aggressive push may have just... It has cost them the game. 40 tickets. It's below the threshold. Infused... I don't know what to say here. Down to 1 ticket. ASUS somehow pulled that around, and Infused were leading this game the entire way. But to let it slip in those last couple of seconds, I've got to say it. Do you think that last kind of aggressive push coming out for the likes of Hadouken and Revo, a couple of players who just got in their faces rather than playing basic Battlefield, that could have cost them the game here? Hindsight is 2020. Don't get me wrong, but wow, that's a little bit of a heartbreaking moment there. I've got to say it.
Yeah, that's just feeling too confident, maybe coming forward like that, trying to just end the game as quick as possible. But when you ain't got that many tickets to play with, it looks like you've got loads, but really you didn't. And what can you say, really? But, man, they just came so close. 1 ticket, literally 1 ticket.
1 ticket. I don't know what to say about that game. Infused, I think it's time to be kicking yourselves, because they had that. They literally had that. They had the 2-to-1 hold. They went aggressive on the street. I can literally remember it, and they maybe didn't account for the fact that they were very close to that 41 tickets. I think they were at like 60 to 10 maybe at that moment. And then obviously all these kills coming in, the squad wipe happening, the retakes, and then just Infused were left with nothing. So first map does go to ASUS just to shut me up. And now we're moving on to Shanghai. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure on this, because okay, the second half, I think we can both agree that maybe Infused played it a little better until they kind of lacked the discipline that could have really won them the game. But ASUS seem like they're happy to scrap it out. They don't go for the easy victories. They like to take it all the way. But who do you think this map suits better? Because I'm seeing a lot more of Shanghai coming into play now.
Well, since the patch and kind of fixing the initial problems of the spawning on that B flag, Shanghai has been thrown up a lot more. It was a deciding map in the best of 5 at the offline finals between MYM and Pyro, and it was kind of a wild card map. No one really picked it, no one really banned it because no one really cared that much about it. No one had massively strong feelings for or against it, so it kind of got left there at the end. And it's one of these maps where if you can hold A and B and hold along the middle of that road, you're going to look at a very strong position. It's very difficult to break, but the spawns now do come in a lot of the times, like right at the central statue there, and that can really throw defenders off guard. And you know what? It's an interesting map right now, and a one that I don't think any team has particularly mastered that well. I have seen both Epsilon and Fnatic do very, very well on it. In fact, Epsilon are probably the best I've seen on this map so far.
See, I think I had the opportunity or pleasure, so to say, of seeing Fnatic on there when it just became an absolute slaughter in between. Let me drop you guys into game so you can see this, so you can see what I mean at least. When it came down to in between the two sites, you know, obviously C and A, and there's a little crossroads in the middle before you get into the lovely little shopping mall. And the hold on there, the crossfires were perfect. It was so well set up. And, you know, I'm kind of curious to see if that's the style people will adopt. And because it's kind of been introduced a little bit later, let's say, to the competitive map pool, because as we said, it was just kind of left previously, I am looking forward to seeing what these teams can now bring, that it's not just a brand new thing. Because obviously when you first start playing a game, you know, one team will set the play style almost. One team will be better than all the others, so they kind of adopt it. But obviously everyone's now at that point where there's about 4 teams who can easily beat each other, and it's all very up in the air as to who's going to win it. I'm curious to see how these people kind of work it out now that everyone's kind of on a good even keel. But yeah, I look forward to this one. I'm not sure what to expect from either side here. I'm hoping Infused can kind of bring themselves back from this, because these two teams are tied on points. You know, they're both sitting down in 13th place, both on 15 points. I think the furthest both of these teams have ever gone is to round 2, where they've been knocked out. Having some tough games, to be fair, though. Infused met MYM in Cup number 2 when they got to the second round and lost that one out, but they did pick up a map. And ASUS met Epsilon in round number 2 in Cup 2. So both teams not having the easiest of opponents, but still, it's not exactly an easy game to start with either. So I'm not sure. Where's your money on for this one?
I got a horrible feeling. Obviously, I'm a bit of a fan of the UK guys in Infused, but I got a feeling RoG might actually be able to take this one. I think Infused are probably kicking themselves after losing that last map, and to be honest, I felt that they probably should have took both rounds, and they let it slip in both. So hopefully they forget about that and play anew, but you can't help but having those kind of things stuck in the back of your head. What I'm looking for in this kind of matchup is a B hold, where teams are going to pivot depending on wherever the pressure is. So if they start losing A, they'll go for C, and just keep that B flag as the main one as holding their defense.
Wow. I just want to point out something right then. Bambi did this brilliant push across, and he didn't go for the initial shots. He spotted out 3 of ASUS, got 1 kill on one and the assist on the other, and it's allowed them a solid foothold towards that B site. And it's so hard to kind of convey this sometimes without people playing the game, but sometimes information is just as important as getting the kills. And right now we are going to be seeing a 2-to-1 hold in a moment coming out for Infused on B, on A, but we are seeing 2 players splitting across there. It's going to be Fenta going for the initial exchange. He loses out that time towards Bambi, who was such a key player, but Hysteria and Product both finding a way through. And what is the ideal setup here? Is it still the A and B site?
It is the A and B, mainly because you can harass that C flag with just one guy on the upper balcony, and that's kind of what Infused were going for at the beginning, but they didn't really get it. And you can just see that they had a great start, but once again, not making that much of it. And yeah, they've got to be very careful here, but if they can clean up B, and there's only one guy remaining, Hysteria, and he goes down, that's another wipe on RoG, and this is Infused's chance to start pushing a lead here.
Well, let's hope they can do it, because the spawn coming in from ASUS was as far back as you can imagine, down by C, which is the only site in their hands. But Prodigy, or Prodig, is making his way straight across that main road, and he's going to be trying to push towards that main street. But as I mentioned before, this is just kind of the crossfire massacre that can happen. But Hysteria, splitting around the back, gets caught in the end by Revo, who does get a nice little double, denying any access to the opponents around the side. So Infused will be holding on towards A. B still in their hands, and only Intact really on the street, and he's just been picked up. This is a nice hold so far from Infused if they can keep this locked down.
Yeah, they need to be careful. What they want is someone on that upper balcony over C so they can push and harass whenever they feel like it. And what you were saying before about knowledge is power, it really is helpful in Battlefield. Get the spots in there, very important. I remember I was watching the Dignitas CSGO team at IEM, and I was asking one of our coaches, why is Fetish constantly pushing mid and just getting picked up? He knows he's going to die though. It's just like, yeah, but they need to know where they're going. They need to know where the pressure's coming in, and that's why you have a lot of people who don't go for the kills. They just get the spots, let everyone know where the pressure's coming, and then try and act accordingly.
It is a very good point. And look at you with your CSGO knowledge. Someone's been playing that game a bit. Ooh, sellout. Anyway, 2-1 hold is still in favour to Infused. Who am I to talk? Jesus. Jack Frags is the furthest push forward player, just kind of dominating through mid and keeping all that information flowing. He does get shut down in the end by Hysteria, who's been absolutely on point through this game so far. Not really kind of coming into his own at the moment, but 128 to 91. ASUS seem to be kind of locked down towards C, which we see happening quite a bit. Once that street hold comes into play, you're left with very few options, it seems, and Prodigy or Prodig kind of using one of those, which is this very long flank, but the time it costs. How do you break through this street hold? Because unless you're depending on winning one-on-ones, is there any easy way through, or is it just down to that long rotate round the side?
Long rotate, but there you go. Prodig gets either a spawn or a very slow push onto A, but as I said, they're using that B flag as just their anchor, really, and they go for C as soon as they know that A is going to be under pressure, and as I said, they're just going to pivot on that flag and take whatever is going to be open to them, and right now, that is going to be the C flag.
It's the beauty of those middle sites. It does give you that variable option as long as you are getting those spots in. We are seeing a little bit of a push coming out from ASUS towards that B section, but Hadouken holding on for now in a good position. Bambi as well, so two players keeping these guys pretty far away, but the C push has begun, and look at the stack coming out from ASUS, and they're being mowed down. Jack Frags going absolutely wild, finally gets challenged down, but it took a hell of a lot of work, and my god, that was a little bit of a tough situation there for ASUS, and one man can hold you in place. They walk away with A and C, but as you mentioned, we normally see those vastly quick rotates, but so many of Infused got taken down. They're left with just that C site, and they might lose out on B, which is their variable option, and this could be the undoing. We've seen Infused, once they get knocked off of this kind of happy pace that they sit at for a while, they can start to struggle, and they're being left with just one site here. They are going to pick up C, but I want to see how they now work themselves back into this, because that's where they struggled before.
Yeah, and you can see Intact just taking upper position at C and really just harassing, but now it's Prog, and in fact all of the RoG guys are really just coming forward here trying to get kills and just trying to keep Infused pinned at the C flag. Never letting them feel like they've got a chance to push out here. Keep them contained, and that's what they need. But Infused need to break out either through B or a long way down A, and it hinges on kills right now.
Nice little shot coming in from Revo there. Does manage to find Prodigy with that Magnum in hand. So maybe opening a bit of a pathway up towards the A site. You are seeing a couple of players from Infused making their way through. And we've seen this long rotate coming in before, and this could open up A. So will he wait for the respawns, or will he go for this one? I'm not sure. I think he's going to wait for the respawns, get a couple of teammates with him. Oh my word, stunning shot to Hysteria. So that is a cracked open, thanks to Revo with that beautiful Magnum play. He will be challenged down eventually maybe by Vinch, but Vinch has a lot of work to do. I think he's gone and done just about enough. He's got the first frag, got a respawn, but here comes the flank from the side. Infused are not letting this go. They want that site, but the nades might just hold them back for now, but finally take it over. But they've lost out on C, and they have to get on B, surely.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to go for. They're just trying to slow down players at C, and unfortunately for them, Phantom gets taken down eventually. And you can see they know where the pressure's coming in, and RoG is just flowing back into this B flag as quick as they can.
Well, Intact there doing the work, and they have held on towards this site for a little while, at least harassing them on this site, but not taking it back over. Infused are certainly getting themselves around this, but they've kind of negated A completely, and Hysteria is not going to look that sort of chance and just say no to it. He's going to be getting straight onto this one. He's pretty much got, you know, a good bit of support coming in on the main street, but it has allowed B to be once again that pivoting side that allows you to adapt where you please, but JackFrags now needs to be, you know, stepping up to the plate and picking these kills up. He did brilliantly here before, but can he do it again? Pushing around, gonna go for the pickup, gets taken down the end by the position that you called out being so important. It's Vinch doing it. He's up on that catwalk, just being a complete pain to the opponents, but they've lost down 2 sites. You know, Infused maybe duked out towards that C section, but they still have A, they still have the other sides in hand, and actually tell a lie, they had B and C in hand, but now they're losing out on it. Infused, you know, where do they go? They seem to be kind of losing that, should I say cohesion that they sometimes have, that once they kind of get thrown off, they don't seem to get back into the swing as fast as other teams, but they have a solid lead, but when do they start worrying here?
They're okay right now. They're holding this B flag. It all comes down to if they lose B, that's when they're in trouble. As long as they're still on here, and you can see that that pressure at C might not be getting flagged, but it's tying down defenders and giving time for the B flag to do their work. And there you go, they've cleared out the attack there, and now they're going to move on to A. Hopefully they realise that that pressure is going to come in from RoG. There you go. 4-man push onto that B flag, and Jack there slowly pushing that A, and now it's looking pretty desperate for Infused on that B flag. They need to be careful here, or they're going to get contained onto A once again.
Yeah, and well, it's down to Revo, and he's been just shut down by the opponents, and with 20 tickets left, we know how dangerous ASUS can be when they have their backs to the wall. They can still turn up, and this aggressive play from them, and they're never satisfied with just, you know, the comfortable hold here. They do have B, they do have C, but they're constantly sending people out towards the A section, holding Infused back. We saw it when Infused just had C, but maybe not expecting the back spawn from Infused. They could turn over the C site if they have a good bit of a foothold here to kind of do the work they need, but still, immediately, ASUS come back. Hysteria gets one, gets shut down in revenge. Revo now, once again, the pivotal player here. He's going to have to do something pretty impressive or wait for the respawns. His teammates have done the job, so he can push in towards the site, claim over C, but still, B going back and forth. No one's been able to firmly hold this one down, and every single site being contested. C should go Infused way. ASUS at the moment have the numbers on B, but ASUS as well have A, so this could be going a 2-to-1 hold in favor to ASUS for now, surely.
Yeah, you know what, Infused got to move really quick here because enough reinforcements are coming in. The kills are going RoG's way, but they're going to get this B and A hold quite quickly, and Infused are going to end up in that situation that they're in again. They've got the lead, but if they stop panicking and not just attacking together, they're going to lose.
Well, Revo trying to do what he can on the side, but he's been shut down there as Bambi's going for a bit of an interesting split, pushing all the way across the street and going straight for the A flag, but look at this spawn coming in for JackFrags and Phantom all the way around the back. C is looking vulnerable, but no one going for it. They want to hold on towards A. These tickets, they're starting to wear down for Infused. The lead is starting to be worked out, and Hysteria is holding on for now. He gets the tag towards Phantom, but not the kill, and this is Infused taking down A. The immediate reply coming out from ASUS towards C, but one man looking to challenge towards the A site might be Fender. He's waiting on those respawns maybe, but playing it smart, taking the shots, not landing them ideally, but I've got to say ASUS need to keep hold of a 2-to-1 to keep this in their hands, and these kills coming in for Infused are not going to help. Infused are picking up C. They're looking good on A, but this 1v1 is going to come down and be a huge factor here. It's now a 2v2. Respawn's going in. Bambi gets Hysteria, pushing from Vinch. This looks like Infused have won it out on A, and they should at least hold this 2-to-1 long enough.
27 tickets, so not
it's
the
low.
kind of score that they were looking like they had before, so yeah, the damage is done there, and that's Battlefield in a way. You can be ahead quite a lot, but as soon as you get full wipe like that and thrown off those 2 easily defendable flags, you got to make sure that you don't come in like crazy and wild. Yeah. You got to pick your moment, get the kills, and really not just waste the tickets you have, and that's what we see time and time again, and that's what we've seen with Infused in the previous map, and it cost them dearly, but finally they won a round.
Yeah, finally. But I do want to point out, you look at ASUS's score, for example, it's like a very even scoreboard, every single player doing their job, but you look at Infused, higher kills, but you see like Bambi, for example, completely heading this up, 22-11. it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes you have one player stepping up more than the others. It's obviously great for morale at moments, but you know, when everyone's performing rather than one more than the others, it seems to go down a little bit better. But still, looking at what we saw in that first half, who do you think had the better kind of setups and play styles on this map? Because it was always a bit of an enigma coming into this one because it's still very new to the competitive scene in a way, even though it's been there from the start. Who had the better kind of format coming into this?
I think it pretty much just came down to like more of a TDM style, like who got the kills at the beginning, and Infused got 2 to 3 big wipes early on and really just imposed their will onto RoG, and RoG did what they could, but that lead was quite significant in a 150 ticket game. It came right down to 27, but I mean, Infused had about 40, 50 tickets at one point and really just looked really dominant. And you got to remember, this is RoG's map. This is what they picked to take on Infused, and maybe they thought that Infused hadn't been practicing this map very much. Maybe they thought they'd catch them out on a pick here, but it doesn't look like they had any particular tactics which were superior in any way.
Yeah, they didn't look all that unique. Should I don't know, I feel a little bit mean saying they weren't all that unique, but they really weren't, and we are now seeing the immediate pressure coming in from ASUS, flooding across the street, negating B, going for A. They're picking up the kills, and they're gonna pick up this A side, taking down 3 members. Hadouken round the back, trying to do some damage, but only finding Revo really to do anything towards him. Being outflanked as well, you know, Infused, they've kind of negated the sites they were given, and now Jack Frags once again down by the C site. A bit of a strange start for these two, but I think ASUS are coming out the better here.
Oh, definitely. They forced Infused to take the bait of the C flag, kind of isolating them up there, and now RoG can do to Infused what happened in the previous round.
And let's see if it can happen. Hadouken picking up the double there, looking for a way through the street. They are breaking through. It's clean exchanges. It's not a pretty one, but still, the B site's looking fairly undefended right now. We are going to see that it's just kind of been taken over by Infused, and the ASUS side left down just towards A, really. Hysteria gets taken down and probably just trying to get the revive in and get his teammate back up there, but still, this is a nice setup for Infused. Maybe not the ideal one, but they seem to have a little bit of a plan here, sending Hadouken around the side, and these long rotates, Infused don't seem, you know, all that bothered by them. They're happy to send a player around the backside, get the spots out, be the pest, and then get support from the rest of the side coming across the street, and that will be Revo now joining in with his teammates. It was Hadouken over there. They picked up A, and this looks brilliant for Infused straight off the start.
It does, and RoG playing with 4 players right now. They have lost a 5th man, so Infused definitely taking what they can here and really just going for that triple cap. And yeah, as long as they can keep the kills coming in here, and there's Revo with double kill, I really don't see what RoG can do. They need their 5th guy back in the server as quick as possible, but man, Infused are going to start running away with it here.
Yeah, and that trip cap just doing enough. Phantom is literally in their spawns almost, just being the biggest pain you can imagine. And the rest of Infused are looking to join him as well. So Phantom just buying time, buying more tickets. You'll see those tickets just start pouring away from ASUS, and they're the ones with the 27 ticket deficit already. So if they drop below 27, they will be in trouble. Those nades giving away the game. Phantom now knows they are going to be going towards his site. Flag starts being capped. I want to see how he plays this one out. It's such a great position. And, well, he gets the kill. Doesn't go for the straight-up challenge on there, but as you mentioned, it's just about buying time and buying more time for your team to just keep that tickets, you know, keep those tickets in their hands. And as you mentioned, before players, ASUS, I'm not sure what they can really do here.
No, it's really painful for them, but, you know, it's not like this is over yet. They will be able to take this to a 3rd map, even if they lose here, so, you know, it's not all over for them. But yeah, I think this map is pretty much done unless they can do something quite remarkable here, and maybe Infused might just get a bit reckless.
Yeah, indeed, and Vinch pushing in but gets found by Phantom. 85 tickets left, and I kind of feel for ASUS. It's not looking too good at all, and Hysteria just pushing in and trying to do what he can. I think he's been an absolutely stand-up player. First time I've really seen this guy in action, and on the first map he was an absolute monster. Right with the AEK actually. Interesting choice. Not the most close range of maps, I guess, but still. 74 tickets left, and I've got to say, until the 5th comes back for ASUS, I feel it's just shooting fish at a barrel. They'll be left down towards C. They've got a little bit of a foothold towards the B side, but it's not exactly going to be easy when you're always against the odds. Couple of shots coming through. I'm not sold on this one, really. I do feel bad for these guys. Nice work, though, from Prodigy once again. He's going to be doing what he can. They have actually unlocked the B side for now, but I can imagine this could be an immediate reaction from Infused. Hadouken trying to get over there. Revo going the long way around, expecting the re-rotate, but Infused will just pick up C and get ready to set up here. But ASUS, you know, they are struggling, I do feel, and there's not much you can do in this one. With only a couple of tickets ready to play with. If they drop below 27, it will be going to a third map. So Infused making up for what happened on the first. Obviously, maybe not the way they wanted to do it, but it happens nevertheless.
Yeah, but they were having a very strong start. The first round was very, very good, so we'll have to wait and see how they're going to adapt to it. But it is devastating. Basically, they can't get their fifth back in, and that's just painful for them, and they're really suffering for it right now as Infused just holding these flags and just playing ultra aggressive. You know what? RoG can actually do something here. They just need to be very, very careful and play smart, because really Infused are playing very, very loose here, and they're just going to get wiped there. And right now, you see, RoG are going to take this C and B, and it all comes down to just smart play right now. They can win this, it's just not easy.
Well, I want to hope for them. I really do. They do have the 2-to-1 hold here, and as you said, if they play smart, they might be able to do this, but they have to play so carefully here as well, because, as you mentioned, they're down a player, they don't have the options there to do the rotates or the singular holds that they may do previously, and they're going to lose out on C, and there's something, a bit of a miracle could happen, as Bambi's just going to spam out those nades, keep them as far back as possible, and just buy time, and that's all Infused have to do. But a nice respawn coming for ASUS here. They do finally have their fifth back, so maybe turning point. If there's going to be a comeback, it's going to have to be right about now, and they're certainly going at it. A couple of nades coming through. A looking like it's going their way. They already have their hands on B, but one man could cause a lot of trouble. It's Jack Frags. He's round the back. C's been taken over by the opponents. He's going to have to do something. He gets the first, gets naded out in the end. Respawn though for Hadouken, gets the revive. 45 tickets. There's not much in this now. Infused are on the verge of winning this one, but we've seen them give this one away before. And ASUS looking like they want to prove a point. Triple cap coming out straight away for these guys.
Yeah, Infused need to be really careful here. I'm interested to see where their spawns are going to come in. And man, this is not looking good for them. This is going to be far away spawns. But luckily for them, they finish off Victor on the C flag. And RoG here need to be careful. They don't want to play too aggressive here. They're going to fall into the trap. Infused did before. But they are in a strong position. If they play smart, they can steal this one.
Yeah, 2-to-1 hold. Big brawl going down towards that C site, and it's actually going back in favor to ASUS now. Infused have tried to do something here, but it's not really paid off. Finally, they break through with the advantage of numbers, and B also being taken down by Infused. This could be the final blow, really, leaving so few tickets to be left beside ASUS. But still, Hysteria looking like he wants to challenge towards B first, rather than going straight over towards C, but picked up on the street. Big challenge out from Prodigy and Intact, just causing so much pain towards the opposition. They're swinging it over, but 33 tickets. They're getting so close to that 27. We're so close to going to a third map now as Revo dancing between the bullets and the grenades. 27 tickets is the magic number, and a triple cap for Infused is going to just rub. Well, it's just insult to injury now for ASUS as they finally got their fifth back, but it's sadly too little too late.
Yeah, they'll probably be thinking that they could have done a lot more with their fifth, and obviously they could, but I don't like to read too much into 4v5 games, especially with the fact that your opponents probably don't take it as serious as well. Kind of really just play ultra aggressive. Yep, shame, but it happens, and we'll be going to a third map.
We will be. I'm not against going to third maps. That's fine by me. I don't mind more battlefield action. I'll live with this. But you know, I've got to give you the question. So we've seen both teams now pick up a map each. One from a 4v5, let's say, and one from let's say a little bit of a lack of discipline. Let's call it that for now. Who do you think played better so far? Because it is very map dependent, but we've seen these teams kind of pick up retrospective wins on the maps they didn't really pick, so it's kind of hard to decide on that one. But who's played better to your opinion? Because it's been breakout plays, you know, from both sides, but no one's ever really come out the better from it. You know what I mean? It's always been this back and forth, but who overall to you's kind of done a little bit better?
I think Infused to play a lot better. I think in the first round they got the initial wipe. The spawn's definitely not favourable to them. That could be their own a problem of their own making. But you got to remember they were ahead in the last round of the first map. They were dominant. They were absolutely playing with RoG, and that's where they fell into a trap and messed up. The second map, in the first round, they look completely in control. I mean, can't do much on the last round there on that, but really, they seem to be on top a lot more than RoG. And honestly, I don't know about you. You caught that moment with that Magnum kill from Revo, and I was just like, oh, that's a good shot. And more from that, he also got the flag capture and the defense as well, and stuff like that. Hadouken holding down that B flag. He was an anchor in that first round and really pivotal for them. And that's an important flag to hold. And you got to put a very cautious, but also a player that can deliver those big 2-on-1s and play smart, and that's what they got there.
Alrighty, so the next map is going to be Storm. Now, when I look at this map, I see kind of building control and smart rotates. And I kind of also put it up to a very similar way that Railway can be played, in the fact that, you know, if you can control the buildings very well, if you rotate very well, you can do quite brilliantly at it. And I've seen some teams this kind of be a near an undefeatable map for them. Infused played quite well on Railway and Railway until they kind of went overly aggressive and gave it away. Their holds were great. And I've got a horrible feeling this kind of plays into their hands in this one. So your thoughts towards this map being the decider here. Does ASUS have a shot at this, or, you know, is it not the ideal map for them?
Oh, definitely. They have a chance, but it's all about how good they are on their captions and some sneaky captures as well. I think Infused probably have a stronger all-round infantry, and I think that's going to be what's going to push it over the edge. This map, in a way, is an interesting one. Obviously starts off quite calm, and then the storm kicks in a bit later on. But if you bring up your tabletop, you'll see the key aspects of the beginning of this game is going to be that B and A generally revolves around a 2-man push early on, sometimes 3 to 4, but rarely that many. Is everyone wants initial control of those buildings. People will sacrifice that B flag just to get the buildings, especially the middle ones between the A and the B. But this is where the game starts to get interesting. You can pretty much dominate your opponent as long as you get that A, B, and you can harass C. But if you can force your opponent into the top left part of that map, that spawn is such a trap, because with that BC building, the lone building as it's called, you can spot everyone on that spawn, and every time they go into C, you can nade them out, shoot them out. Either way, it's an easy one to hold, and it's a spawn that keeps on happening. And you can see Fnatic a lot of the time, they get people into that spawn at the top left, and they just hammer the tickets out of them until it's just an insanely high score, and they do that against top level teams.
Yeah, and to be fair to Fnatic, I really didn't like their original playstyle towards this map. They constantly got overrun by the likes of UMAV back in the first season, but they did adapt, as you mentioned. They became a bit of a monster on this one, so certainly a team to look towards if you wanted a bit of a game style update. So we are almost ready to get underway. On the US side, it will be ASUS, so let me switch that around. And on the Chinese side, it will be Infused. Now, I'm not sure I want to put my money. It is tied 1-1 at the moment. This is just the first game of the day as well. It's not a bad way to start off the day. I want Infused to win. I know I shouldn't, but I like the UK guys. I used to be part of Infused. I feel that I've still got some sort of loyalty there, but I don't know. I still think ASUS can cause upsets, because you look at the way it's been won so far. ASUS dropped a player, and they kind of lost out on that one, and it's been a very hard game to call so far. I feel as though it's kind of been a back and forth, and I think they're just restarting the map. Hopefully it starts soon. I like it when things start. And obviously I do want to pick your brain about the gun changes and some of these kind of options. I think you'll probably know more than I do about it.
Yeah, I mean, weapons. I somehow managed to get a hair in my mouth. Very classy of me there.
Sexy.
I don't even know
Sexy as hell.
Yeah. Weapon-wise, not much has changed. Everyone's now pretty much reverted back to the Ace 23. Scar H and the Ace 52 being banned out, and that has something to do with really just how devastating it was on hipfire, and a lot of awkwardness on the gun. I don't really want to go into too much. It would be here all day. I'm sure Jack Frags has a few videos you could probably watch about it. But either way,
did he pay you for that little bit of a link there?
No, he puts up
good
content. I'm not, he does stuff. Either way, I mean, the only other thing really it's changed is some people like to mingle a bit more with engineer weapons, but not really too much. It's pretty much the A show right now.
Well, let's get into the game as we are underway. A and C initially being picked up by Infused, B going towards ASUS's hands, and we are seeing Hadouken and Co holding on to this one, just really trying to be a good nuisance towards A, and forcing Intact back a bit, making them heal up. And already this is a big bit of play coming out from Infused. They look out for blood here. Phantom will be picking up B, and really we knew you said it at the start how devastating this back spawn could be towards the top left of the map, and this is what ASUS have at the moment. C was kind of a little bit of a push out from Revo more than anything, and well, he could hold on to this with the right support, I guess.
Yeah, the longer he holds out here, the better. Oh my god, he went into the atmosphere. But this is the position they want, because they know where these spawns are, and if they hold the buildings correctly, they can keep them here for quite a while. It's all down to Jack on that flag, on that building, just playing smart and to know when trouble's coming. He does pick off 2 on that C flag, so that flag is really exposed now. But man, RoG's only got 1 guy remaining, and that's Intake, and he's sitting in that building, and they must know he's there.
Yeah, Revo already looking for the push-up. They haven't found him yet. The respawns have come in just below, but already, look at the setup. Revo they're just so aware here. They know there's 2 players now. Revo spotted out 1. The nades will be dropped up, so 20 HP towards him. The breakthrough play, just by that pest of pushing in towards that singular house, has allowed Product to come through towards C and pick it up. But the storm coming in very soon now, and we are seeing a 2-to-1 hold firmly to Infused at the moment, and a big ticket lead, 148 to 104. I don't know what this map really comes down to these days. Back when I casted a lot of it, let's say, in Season 1, it was all about that building hold and keeping hold of the higher ground, let's say, and then rotating off it. Is it still played out like that, or is it adapted at all?
No, pretty much, and I think what you seen there was a full domination cap straight off the bat with a wipe, and then they punished them by having them in the top left spawn, and they held them there for quite a while. And even when they were getting out of it, look at it right now, they're in that B house, but they're not getting off it, they're not going onto a flank. That bleed is continuing, and only now are they starting to move off it, and there's already defenders, and that's a clean wipe on the attack. This is brutal right now as the C flag is getting capped over by Bambi.
Yeah, this is brutal. It's the best way to put it. And this looks like a very familiar setup to me. Seeing Phantom in the spot, this is near on exactly how I've seen Fnatic play this map. Normally it was Winghaven sitting here. Not only with the AEK back then, but it has allowed a bit of a breakthrough actually, because the one-on-ones were just, pretty much picked up by ASUS. It's brute force when you're down to that situation, and B is now being taken back by ASUS. They're going to go for the challenge. They don't have full support from the roofs, but, the buildings, but now, breaking through. It's Hadouken. He's going to pick up the kill towards Product, back away, trying to not die immediately. There's players looking down on him from everywhere, and this 2-to-1 hold might be a triple cap if Fenta can stay alive long enough.
Yeah, confusion in the Infused ranks there, not really deciding which flag they want to go to. Eventually settling on a 2-on-2 push on both flags. They need to be quick here, and they're going to fall for that trap, I feel, being stuck out on that C flag. Probably want to rely on spawns or picks on A, but you can see they're going to get overwhelmed with that A flag quite quick unless they spawn in on a lot of people.
Yeah, we are seeing ASUS holding on to this right now. Hadouken not too far away, and there is 1 man in the trenches. It was Bambi. And, well, like the Disney movie, he gets shot down. And, well, that means A will be staying in the hands of ASUS, C being the last bastion for the Infused side. And Jack frags, Wrecker, please. Coming in from the side, trying to get a couple of shots from the cross towards, or from A towards B, allowing his side a little bit less pressure to pick up maybe this B cap. It's Revo getting himself in here, getting straight in, getting himself set up and looking to try and stay alive, but fire comes in from the side. He's not expecting the immediate reaction, and now here comes Bambi pushing back in, avenging his fallen teammate. Hadouken and Phantom doing the same, and this might be Infused turn this one around. They've opened up a little bit of B, but they haven't really got a foothold towards either of these sites. A's looking maybe a better option, but they're going to have to get there pretty damn quick.
Yeah, look at that lead that they have. It's been whittled away by RoG guys, and just good building control, and they're threatening captures all the time here and doing a great job out on C.
Gotta say, Infused, once again, they seem to just get these brilliant leads and they just might let it slip, but Hadouken behind 3 players now goes for the he fluffed the shot. Hadouken, I was about to say you played so well, and then you make it. ladies and gentlemen, we're never watching Hadouken again. He had a brilliant opportunity, and he's just gone and let me down. So the rest of Infused will now have to save the day, and that has got to hurt straight into the chest. Bambi is being destroyed. It's like my childhood all over again, just sadness. Just every time I see that name. But B is still being contested out, and Intact finally goes down, and maybe that's the changing point here for Infused. They have A rather than C. They have the kind of setup. They may be able to challenge on towards this B site. Revo is holding on. They're gonna get B. The respawn's coming in for ASUS quite far back, and where will ASUS be focusing now?
I think they're probably going to try and hit both B and A here, try and sneak around. They need to get the kills here, and they need the building control. And you can see that's kind of what they're going for here. This is Infused's chance to keep pushing that lead ahead again, but they need to be careful. They've lost control of that B house here, and they've got to work out, but that pressure is probably going to fall on that B side very soon. Phantom pushing around for a C, and I think this is pretty good for Infused, but they just need to keep themselves alive in the center of the map so they can get some spawns.
Yeah, Phantom, as you said, all the way around towards C. They're still happy to be going on these long flanks, which I do like from these guys. So Phantom taking the time, picking up this C side. He should be getting a couple of respawns. The exchange mostly going down once again as per usual within these apartments, but this should be a 2-to-1 hold in favor to Infused for now, but we still know Infused do seem to like giving away any advantage they have, as Hysteria just dancing around here. Jack does pick up one, but he does finally go down, and there we have it. So the kind of building's kind of going both ways at the moment, but the 2-to-1 is in Infused hands.
Yeah, and that's what they want. It really doesn't matter for them how many times they lose out on a few of these kills, as long as they keep this bleed going right now. And to be honest, RoG could really do with pushing on one of these flags, and they're getting contained a bit here by Infused.
Yeah, they certainly are. So one of the breakout plays is towards C. That is Fenta. They're picking this one up. So he's in a good spot to do some work here. Hopefully he can get this one down for the team. You can see the Infused are mobilizing, but not really to challenge. Just one player so far being sent over. Now respawned will be 2. So maybe looking to pick this one back up, and they're going to have to, because this could be a triple cap coming down as A is up for grabs. This is where the exchange is going through. One player looking to challenge, and well, it was probably he gets picked up by Bambi. So A will be switching over towards Infused, but they've lost complete control of this map. Buildings dominated by the opponents. Hysteria does go down to the retake from Phantom, whose Magnum work has been brilliant so far. Actually, all of the Magnum play has been pretty awesome. But still, Infused, once again, they had a great lead, but they just kind of let it slip a little bit. 2 players are looking towards that C site, but still, I see the immediate reaction coming in from the opponents as well.
Yeah, and they're really getting caught out by that. No spotting at all, and Bambi there getting a kill on Hysteria, really opening up that B, and you can see Jack trying to do what he can, but they know he's there, and he's kind of outnumbered and outgunned. He goes down, but this gives a chance for spawns to come in on Bambi, but they need to be careful here. They do have a lead, and it does give them a bit more leeway, but they can't squander it like they have before, and they need to start getting some of these kills.
Yeah, they certainly do, and 49 to 26. Tickets are close, but obviously Infused are just about in the lead, but not by a drastic margin. We've seen things getting closed up even closer than this, but here comes a push from Hysteria. He's going to make his way towards that B site. In the buildings, ASUS already set up to hold this. I think it's Intact pushing around the side. Big respawn coming through, so they should clear that one up, and hopefully B will be theirs in just a moment's time. And Bambi really needs to make sure he gets this C site in the hands, because at the moment, Infused are going to struggle to get back on B, surely. They can't afford to let this one slip, and at the moment, it looks like they might just have about picked up that C site, so maybe still on for this, but this could still go either way.
Yeah, RoG at this point realise they're probably not going to win this round, so what they're playing for here is that flag capture as much as possible. They want the bleed to do the work for them, and if they get the 2-on-1, then that's great, but really they're just going for the bleed right now. They're just running for the captures, and that's what they've got at A here.
Oh,
and
wow.
if they can clean up at C, this is going to be great for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a triple cap coming through. ASUS might just turn this one around, and in some style as well. They're just about starting to lose out on A, but they should get a good 2-to-1 setup maybe if they can hold the push as quickly as possible. But there is a player breaking through. It was Revo there. He's going to take down the first and look to maybe get some respawns towards him, but still, these tickets are getting close. 29 to 13. Revo now pushing in towards that B side. He gets picked up in the heels. Jack frags now to try and save the day. Comes in with a revive, picks up his teammate, and looks to take over this B side. A is still Infused, 25 to 11. This is going to come down to the wire. Jack frags does go down, and a close range challenge from ASUS. They're pouring up towards that hill. Infused winning out in the exchange until Intact came through, but still, one man is on the site. 2-to-1 hold. In favor to Infused, could go either way, but it's going to have to happen right now. Intact with a big double kill, but is it going to be enough?
Phantom getting the capture at C, and really is what saved them there. They ground down the time as long as they could at that B flag, but not a big lead, but at least they got one here. I mean, I got worried. I thought they were going to do it again.
Yeah, it felt like it was about 2 seconds away from happening then. As Intact got the double, I was like, oh lord, they're going to go and do it again. We saw one ticket before, there was 3 or something, so you know, I've learned to not push my luck now with these guys. I do hope that, you know, they sort this out, and maybe they just like giving us exciting games. They're just being nice guys, you know, that's all it is. But still, so on the scoreboard, it's a pretty much equal sight. So like Jack Frags and Fenta pretty much equal on that. You've got Revo not far from Hysteria, and it's kind of going back and forwards. No team really breaking through on that one. But what do you think tipped it just in Infused favour?
I think Phantom actually did a lot of very smart captures on the side. It really kind of solidified that bleed and kept it ticking over long enough for them to, well, get 23 tickets at the end of it. But yeah, very smart play from them. But you know, RoG fought back from what almost was a 60 ticket deficit to really bring that down to a very closely fought game. And you got to feel that if they can keep that kind of mindset, even with the adversity that they were suffering at the beginning, then they can steal this from Infused. And Infused really need to learn to just keep a hold of these flags when they have a lead like that.
Yeah, and I don't know what to chalk it up to, really. It's obviously Infused have had several lineup changes, I believe. And you know, Jack Frags occasionally appears in the lineup every now and then. But is that really a hindrance? They still seem like great players, but I don't know what to make of them. Sometimes they're brilliant, as you mentioned, and others they just kind of slip away. They haven't made it through the second round yet in this tournament, and I feel they really need to start kind of proving themselves in these sort of situations by just, you know, really locking it down.
Yeah, and I think it hinges a lot on momentum. But the kills start coming across the board. One guy gets killed a lot quicker than the other, then they're able to support other fights going on, and it just is kind of a cascade effect, and there you go. And initial start for RoG is quite an interesting one, not even bothering for the B flag, but going for the buildings, getting that capture on A and kind of pushing Infused away. But big kills, Revo and Jack go down, and that B flag is wide open, and Infused here, if they get wiped on A, this is going to be a trip cap.
It's certainly looking like it. At the moment, Infused should be able to pick up A, but it's a 1v1 at the moment. Hadouken trying to just tuck himself away. They're going to pick it up for now, but still a lot of players looking for the challenge now, but 2 respawning in, but Intact and Prodigy in hand, taking them down, and that B site still up for grabs. Revo finally moving in to try and pick this one up, but as we said, you know, the buildings have been taken over mostly by ASUS, and they've been happy to do this one and challenge out here. Fenta a little bit too big to get through that window. Not going to happen for him. He tries to get a little bit of a shot through, but this site will be going to Infused, and it looks like they might be able to pick up C as well.
Infused need to play smart here, because if they get wiped at B, they're going to get stuck up at the C flag again, and just Bambi alone here, he needs to be very, very careful, because if you look on the minimap, he's surrounded completely right now. There's just RoG everywhere, and this is really dangerous. Jack, the last guy remaining, spawns are coming in on them. But he goes down. Now this is really not good for Infused. They are getting relegated to that C flag, and we've seen what happened the last time this happened to RoG.
And there's been another just catch of a rocket launcher, basically. Fender's body just came back down, and credit to whoever let that one fly. That was pretty awesome to see, but still a 2-1 hold in favour to Aces at the moment. They have a decent setup. They don't have themselves within the buildings that we normally see them like to do, but Intact there just checking out for players while crouched down. That looked a little bit strange, but still. Nade's coming out. Hadouken has found Prodigy, and he's just about holding on towards these sites here. As B will be up for grabs, though, as we've seen a little bit of a cheeky push from Phantom round the side, just ignoring and negating the presence of Intact. Bambi keeping him busy, and there we have it. So B should be going Infused way, but they do not have the setup to hold this.
No, well, it depends. It all comes down to the kill then. Get Phantom with the engineer kit. Not really the best kit you want, but it does get you rocket kills every so often for Pansy to see. But yeah, this is nasty right now, because they're getting stuck on that C flag again, and if they can't break off it, there's a good spawn for them, but it's a one that's easily spotted by RoG and easily counted as well. You can already see Hysteria rotating over to defend that flag, but yeah, this is not looking good at all for Infused. They need to be very careful right now.
They certainly do. Jack has got himself over towards A with a couple of teammates beside him, so they should be able to turn this one around, but as you said, careful times for these guys. A and C are not the ideal size to hold. Fenta is pushing in, surrounded by the opponents. He's going to have to be a little bit careful here. He does get picked up in the end from the trenches, and C being immediately challenged out by Hysteria, taking the long way around, trying to spot out any player tucked away in these corners, as B now up for grabs as well. This looks like it could be going Infused way. They could be getting a triple cap on this one, and I think Bambi just caught a glimpse of where Hysteria was, but a little bit too little too late. But which way is this one going to come down?
It's a difficult one right now. I mean, RoG need to just get control of this B flag here. They have C, that's what they want. They've got building control. They've wiped out the defenders at B flag, and now this is just not looking good for Infused. They really need to get a good control of one of these flags. I think they're going to give up on trying to go for B. They're just going to keep hitting C and A, and they're going to just try and sneak caps on B whenever they can.
Well, A and C are up for grabs right now. Both sides switching around. It looks like for now, Infused will be picking up C, but A is quite easily going over to ASUS. But B is the side these two are working for. Jack getting a good spawn towards it. Bambi now beside him. They're going to try and lock this one down. Nades landing at their feet. Fire coming through. Prone down does not get a chance to kind of avoid that one, as those buildings, as we said, so vital for holding B rather than just picking it up and letting it go. As now probably can work his way in from the side. Catches a glimpse of one. B, if he can land the shot, B should be going their way, as he now just pretty much let down his side by not being able to land one single shot there, as he does finally take down Jab frags. But still, this, ASUS, they're a great side, but they had so many moments they could have maybe taken a little bit further and punished them more, because now Infused do have the 2-to-1 hold. Vinch does pick up Phantom on the rotate towards B from A, and oh, beautiful play. He can't get the third, eventually sets it up for Intact, but still 2-to-1 coming out for ASUS. They're in a good position, I feel, to hold B. Where's Infused route to come back into this?
They need to get some pressure onto that A flag, and they need to just get some control of these buildings right now, and that's what they're getting punished for. Lack of control on buildings, and really just getting pushed to the left side of the map, where it's very isolated and very easy to get just shot down as soon as you try and get to a flag. And you can see right now Infused putting some pressure onto that A flag. Definitely what they need. They want the bleed here. They don't really need the frags. They just need to keep this bleed on their side for the majority of what's left, because they just need to get below 23 tickets. Yeah,
and well, at the moment it's not looking far from it. Jack switching out for a bit of a different weapon there, actually. Kind of curious to see what he was running with. AK-5C. Not seeing many people picking that one up. As you said, though, the engineer class is kind of coming into play every now and then. But we are seeing that C site coming over towards ASUS. They will be getting this cap. B still looks like it's firmly in their hands. A will be the last standing bastion for Infused, as the respawns are coming in quite nicely them towards C. But still, there's been a nice double coming through for the opponents. Bambi now trying to make it across towards the side. Gets denied access. And once again, Infused looking like they're in trouble here.
Yeah, and they do have a bit of a comfort zone. They know they've won the previous round. It's not completely over, but they need to start getting a few of these 1v1s going their way. And right now, RoG just seem to be the comeback kings, and they just need to turn it on right at the time that they need it, and Infused just start to kind of fade.
They really do. It's just, Infused seem to be doing perfectly when everything's going their way. When they have those setups, they look near on untouchable. But as soon as you seem to kind of push them off that happy little edge they get themselves on, they don't have the kind of comeback ability that I've seen a lot of other teams kind of possessing, that rally together and then play for the turnaround. But at the moment, we are seeing two sides being challenged out, C being one of them. Revo here with Phantom, trying to pick this one up. Bambi is joining him, so they should be able to convert this. But here comes the counterplay. Maybe ASUS aren't even going to let them take this. It's still a 2-to-1 hold. 38 tickets left for Infused. It's not looking ideal here as Bambi goes down, looking for the double. Hysteria has to go on the reload, though. Prone's down, gets found, and still 2-to-1 hold. Nice spawn, though, for Infused around the back, but still, this is getting very close to the wire here.
Yeah, this is definitely dangerous for them right now. But that spawn might have been the only one that could change this game. But they need to make sure that their building control doesn't screw them over here. And that's what it looks like. You've got, I'm not sure who it is coming up on the top. I think it is Phantom. But unfortunately, by that time, they'd already jumped down, and they need to get these kills quick, and they need to get a wipe here. But otherwise, I kind of feel that Infused might be panicking here.
I think it does look exactly like that. They look like they're struggling for a way through. They're just piling in towards B. And maybe it'll pay off, but this sort of play, this kind of last-minute pushes, never seem to be able to get set up, but maybe that's working because they've got a good couple of kills back-to-back. Nice little pick up from Jack there, finding Hysteria, but the rest of his team have gone down. One player looking to challenge is intact, comes in, gets found by Jack, and now they can hold on, flying towards B, but C is going to be the site that could be their last kind of hold here for Infused. They're down to 15 tickets, it's 2-1, but Revo now on his own. He's got 2 players to handle, they're pushing, he gets Protic, he goes for a second, gets denied that. Vinch will claim it, and that should just about be enough. The reply from Infused is to try and hit up A, but still, 14 tickets, I don't know if it's enough here.
It all comes down to a handful of 1v1s here. Bambi gets the kill, and that opens up the A capture. If Phantom can do the same, that'll open up C, but more spawns are coming in here, and it's really just down to a bleed game right now. Infused, if they can hold this B flag, they might be able to win it, but this is going to come right down to the wire. This is going to be so close.
This is coming down, as you said, to the wire. Bambi finally gets found by Fenta. B is up for grabs, and it looks like ASUS are coming out flying from this one. 59 tickets left on towards the ASUS sides. They do have the disadvantage of 23, but still 8 tickets for Infused. It's not going to be enough. Surely they can't turn this one around. Only 7 left on the board. They're trying towards that C site. He does get the kill. That's Bambi trying so damn hard, but the double coming through. Only Jack Frag's left with a rocket launcher. It's not going to be enough. 59 ticket advantage is going to give ASUS the game, and that was a very close map though, all in all. But I just felt that, as you mentioned, Infused just don't seem to have that cohesion when they get pushed off their comfort zone.
No, not at all, and I kind of feel they're going to be kicking themselves, especially after the first map where they were literally
God, yeah.
Tickets away from just... They could have just sat back.
One ticket.
And won that one. They could have sat back and won that game.
Yep.
And they didn't, and that must be bitter for them as they crash out 2-1. But man, at least it was a good game to watch.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they feel about that. You know what I mean? I'm like, guys, it's a real shame you lost, but we had a great time. Thanks for that. Try it again next week. See how you do. But still, as you mentioned, and the worst thing is now that they were tied, around that 13th place. All sitting around 15 points, same as ASUS, and at that section you're out of securing your position through to the group, so it's a tough spot to be in, and every single victory getting through to the second round is near on vital. To get yourself kind of up in a better position, you need at least the third round here. So ASUS now have to look towards their next opponents, but it was a very close game all in all, and I'm not sure who we're going to be watching next. I'm going to have to check out the brackets, and I'm sure that the ever lovely Dogbook can help me out with which choice to go for, because he knows everything. He's pretty much the most knowledgeable man on the earth. So guys, we'll be back in about 5 minutes with the next game, so do stay tuned. We'll be back in a sec.